We're just normal men. We're just innocent men.
What the heck? Feeny? Resubscribing while I was away? I don't even know what resubscribe notification you got, but ha. Hey, how's it going? Thank you. What the heck? Thank you for the 42 months. I hope your day has been good. I hope you've been doing pretty okay. You're a normal man? Aw, hell yeah. Love that one. Is that? Hold on. 12, 24, 36, 48. No, we're getting there. Oh my god, we're getting there for almost 4 years. Holy shit. You want some of my tapioca pudding? I'll share with you. Your brain is mush, but we comfy mush? Hell yeah. Comfy mush. Mush for mush? Yes, please. Hell yeah. Here you go. Feeds you a spoonful of tapioca pudding. My brain is like halfway mush, but what it really needs is some food. So I'm gonna definitely order some food at some point during the stream. Skyrim TikTok gobbling. Wait, hold on. Can I Skyrim TikTok gobbling? Damn it. Skyrim TikTok eating sound. Eating gobbling. Hold on. That's in there. Oh, that was loud. Let me pause this music. There you go.
You gotta eat the lettuces. Right.
Hey God. Hey, you can see me. Oh. You
gotta eat the lettuces. Right, just straight up eat the lettuce.
You gotta eat the lettuce. All right. There we go. Oh my god. I'm so glad that's like one of the first things that popped up when I was searching that. Oh man. Good stuff. But yeah, um, I hope we can all be comfy here. Um, hold on, I gotta text my brother. Okay. Asking him if he wants anything if I order dinner. God. Tapioca pudding? Delicious. The song? Good. It's fat. It's called Cryptid Love Song by Too Mellow. So anywho. Hey everyone. It's Monday. Which means we are going to be playing Excuse Me Sir. Now, this is just a demo, and it's very short. It said, the itch.io page said that there were a few endings to the demo. So we can try those out, see if we can get them. Can't find the right video. But Tolo had been sharing a video of these NPC TikToks of this girl. And this girl was gobbling a glitzy. Oh my god. That's hilarious. I know what you're talking about with the NPC TikToks, because I've seen some of those myself, and like, they are mind-boggling. Thank you for the glitzy. Going, hi Mittens. This is a weird point in time to join the stream. I know we just started, but it's a weird point in time. Thanks for the glitzy. Immediately does. The grapefruit technique. Oh my god. Okay. If you do find those at any point, send them, because I'm definitely down to watch those. NPC TikToks are weird. I don't... Props to them, because those people are getting money. I couldn't do that. There are things I will do for content, for the Vine, for the Gram, but there are definitely things that I won't do, and that feels like one of them, because it just feels really weird of being an NPC, either out in public or even in private, just like repeating things non-stop when they're giving gifts or whatever. Like, sure, get your bag, get your money, but it's not for me. The one I saw that was also a glitzy was a dude who was like twirling glitzies around, and then like somebody gifted a whole bunch of stuff, and he was like he says going into glitzy overdrive, and then just like starts twirling two of them or something like that. Wild. Props to him. Get that glitzy money. Right. We're supposed to be playing a game today. Oh, okay. I have a serious question for people who are here right now, and I'll probably ask this again later. Do you guys think it would be worth it to actually do like a co-stream on YouTube? Because I've been seeing people do it, and I don't know if it actually would even be beneficial to like try to do that. Because I don't know if like, I guess that's something I could ask my YouTube channel, even though I don't think there's a lot of like, there's not a lot of activity there. Like I post things every now and then whenever I do like a shit post or a comic dub or whatever. Do it? Okay. Yeah, I might ask there if there's any interest, even though there's not a lot of activity. I don't think people will really respond. I don't know how streaming to YouTube works, but I guess we'll figure that out. The way I'm probably gonna do it is like, it's just like this. What people are gonna be seeing is the Twitch page, and is the like the comments and everything are going to be the Twitch comments, but YouTube is just gonna have its own like, you know, section of comments. Normally they're just not seeing their comments, they're just going to be seeing the Twitch comments. I wonder how that works with saving VODs. I don't want to flood my channel because I want it to be mostly for voice acting. I don't know if I want to flood the channel with VODs of streams, because I want it to be mostly finished products of voice acting, or even if I do other stuff like that. Live streams are on a separate tab on YouTube. Oh, also hi Lucid. Yeah, that okay. If they end up on a separate tab entirely, that is very handy. You think YouTube has better mechanisms for channel growth, and it's probably worth trying? Okay. Plenty of people have secondary channels. That's true. A lot of people have secondary channels, but if there's a separate tab entirely, that's actually perfect. Yeah, I've been seeing stuff about like co-streaming or restreaming, I guess, to YouTube, and also just other OBS stuff that I want to like try out. Update the streams, kind of, or add stuff that I might be good. I just need to sit down and spend some time to actually do it. I think with the small break coming up will be for like Thanksgiving if you're in America. He is probably gonna be helpful in giving me time to actually look things over and actually like deep dive into that stuff. So we might be seeing some upgrades to the stream in the future. And yeah, for YouTube streaming, I might try doing that. Not right now, but like maybe like the next couple streams. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Where did I put it? I put it here. Oh, why did you open on that window? Oh no. If I open you on... Nope. Okie doke, okie doke. Let me try that again. Just enjoy the music for now, while I try to get this to open on a separate window. Huh. Well, okay. We're just gonna do this a very weird way. You guys are gonna be on a separate side entirely. Unless there's an option in-game to do that, but I don't think there is because it's a demo. We're gonna be... My monitors are gonna be switched, so... Can you guys see that? Oh, there he goes. Whoops. That's fine. But you guys can at least see it. Yeah. This is a game by Airdorf, Torpelduke, Molly Moon, which, if you haven't seen Molly Moon stuff, she does videos on TikTok that are like reminiscent of point and click games, but like the acting, the character, which is Molly Moon herself, is very stilted. It's very creepy, and there's always something weird going on, or like the character who is you in the TikTok dies at the end or something like that. And this is also being produced by Jesse Cox, which is very cool, dude. They actually all got together to make this, which makes me very excited to play this. But yeah, this is weird that it's on my other monitor and I cannot change it. So this is a sort of point and click style game. I wonder if this is meant to run on a phone, because even this, like, you can see the aspect ratio. There's tons of space on the side over here. Okay. You see Torpel and Tolo streams, so it's cool to be like, I've met them before. Yeah. Yeah, I forget what all Torpelduke has done, but Torpelduke has a lot of other, like, spooky games. Airdorf of Faith fame. Yeah. You hope it's one of those meta games? I hope. That would be really fun. I love games when they do stuff like meta stuff. So yeah. But as the game plays, it stretches or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Me. My brother went missing a few days ago. I hope whoever lives here can help me find him. Continue. Oh, here somebody comes now.
Hey, who are
God.
you?
It just goes like straight out of nowhere. All right. Have you seen my brother? Show flyer. Oh.
He looks familiar. Let's go inside and ask my friend.
Okay.
Let me tell them you're here.
Wait, why is she wearing a different outfit?
Make yourself at home.
Okay. What is this? Screwdriver. I love the sound effect. It might be a little bit too loud still. Oh yeah. That's why. Okay. You get into somebody's home and just start looting? You know, it's the gamer in me. Remind me to never invite you to my house. Look, when you go into somebody's home and you see that there's big, like, star interactable things, I feel like most people would naturally go to that just to see what it is. Huh. The door is locked. Okay.
Great. They're in the basement. Follow me.
Your snacks are not safe if I'm around, yeah.
Go ahead. I'll meet you down there.
Oh,
Don't worry. I'll call the sheriff.
what do you mean? Why would you call the sheriff? Okay, I can't use a screwdriver on her. I love that this is also just a very kind of old school point and click. That is a different kind of screw.
Greetings. We've been expecting you.
Hey, have you seen my brother?
I don't believe I have. We could ask the other members if they have, though.
Oh, well, that's actually very
But
helpful.
first we must pray.
As our newest members, you'll
Praying
have to
with the
perform
homies,
the
yeah.
prayer.
Okay.
Trace the outline on the floor.
I hope one of the endings is just completely normal, even though all this shit happens. Like, they actually do help you find your brother. I hope so, too. That would be great. Just trace the outline on the floor. Erase. Erase, erase. Oh! Neat! I know this isn't gonna happen, but do you remember those old, like, prank, prank web games where you're trying to go along the line and it gets like a little maze and it gets more and more, linear. And yeah. When you get like once you get close enough, it goes into a jump scare. This is what this reminds me of.
Good. Now, you'll need to make a sacrifice.
I don't want to sacrifice him. Look, he's cute. I can pick him up. Let's go, little buddy. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Is that a pig dog? I guess. Let's go, man. We gotta get out of here. Wait, no. Oh, I see. A pog champ. I wish I could stuff him into my items pouch. Yeah, I'm trying. Bam. Did it work?
You idiot.
What?
You did it wrong.
Uh-oh. Time to go. What's over here though? Oh. Hmm. 2 or 3. I love that that was so immediate. That was great. Is there anything? No, there's nothing in there. Okay. That's a bit weird. Oh. Nothing. Oh, we're hiding in the shower. Okay, I see. What's this way? Nothing. In we go. I don't know if that'll... Oh no, she found us. she's sniffing about. Okay, there was this. You have an idea, and if it's not in the game, you're sending a strongly worded letter. Not to the dev, just a random address. Nose close too, you need to find a way out of here. Hallway. Okay. I guess try to find a place we can use a screwdriver. Then. It's kind of funny that we got the same animation. Okay. Oh. Oh. Into the hole we go. We escaped! Into something. Wait, so what's ending 1? Also, Trevor Henderson did some art for it. Get you right. Is ending 1 that we sacrifice? Actually, we didn't even choose the first one, so. Yeah, where's our brother?
Hey, who are you?
Can I use your phone?
Sure, come inside. Now let's ask my friends if they've seen your brother.
No, I need to use the phone.
Why don't I call the sheriff and ask about your brother? He's a good friend of mine.
Okay.
I'm waiting for you in the living room. Come find me.
Oh, this is different. What? We can just explore? You hear strange chanting coming from the basement. What was that? This place is strange. Oh, if I had... Have you seen this man? George Fly. Oh, interesting. Yo, hold on. This is my brother's ID. So he is here, or at least it was. But where is he now? Weird. None of these clothes look like Molly's. None of them are her size or her style. Whose clothes are these? And where are their owners now? Oh!
Like my outfit? Let's play a game. This game only has one rule. I always win.
Hey, where did you get that backpack?
My friend gave it to me. Let's ask him. In the basement.
No, I'm
You're
gonna go call the sheriff.
stubborn. I like it.
Oh no. Molly always wins. That's pretty good. I like that.
The sheriff will be here
Hi, Onwin.
soon.
What's up? Oh, what the hell am I playing? I am playing a game by Molly Moon, Airdorf, Torpelduke, Jesse Cox, and Trevor Henderson. It's called Excuse Me, Sir. And it is very much, I think, in the style of Molly Moon's TikToks. It is a point and click. This is just a demo, but it's a point and click, like, horror type game.
Come, sit down. How about some nice tea?
Okay.
I made it myself.
No, I'm not thirsty. Slap, slap. I'm so curious. Now I'm gonna go at no, I'm not thirsty first.
Ugh, I've been so lonely. I could use some company. Want to go to my room?
I'm really not in the mood right now. I gotta find my brother.
I'm bored. Let's go ask my friend if they've seen your brother. They're just in the basement.
Okay.
How about some nice tea?
Okay.
I made it myself.
Oh, it just loops. Well, okay.
Oopsies. I drugged you.
Oh, you just end up here. Okay.
Greetings. We've been expecting you.
What are you doing down here?
Just a like-minded group of individuals.
Oh, this is definitely Jesse
Would you
Cox.
like to join us?
I could join and earn their trust.
As our newest member, you'll have to perform the prayer.
I feel like I skipped a few like steps the first time playing this. Yeah. PNG of cloaked people.
Trace the outline on the
Get our little buddy back. No! There we go.
Now, you'll need to make a sacrifice.
Not my buddy. I like this. Look at him. He's so chunky. Sacrifice me instead. Hey, have you seen this? Have you seen my brother? Have you? Okay, no, never mind.
You idiot, you did it.
Okay. I'm gonna try to reset it. Go through the whole thing, try and reset it so we can... I want to go through it again. Get the screwdriver? Because there was something else there. But yeah, our first run through, I think we skipped a couple steps. Into the hole we go. It's a fun little thing.
Hey, who are you?
Can I use your phone?
Come in.
I
Now
love that
ask
she
my
has an
friends
outfit
if they've
like
seen your
for
brother.
every single time. For some reason, she has a different outfit for like every scene. No, I need to use your phone.
Why don't I call the sheriff and ask about your brother? He's
Okay. Alright, grab this. No, there's nothing there.
I'm waiting for you in the living room. Come.
Okay, now we can... Ooh. Yeah. We can go in there before she's there. Oh, never mind.
We've been expecting just a like-minded group of individuals. Would you like to join us? We could ask, but first we must pray.
Okay. That's fun that
As
there's a
our
bunch of different
newest
ways to get
member,
in
You'll have
to
to
do
perform
this.
the prayer.
But actually, hold on. No, I don't want to quit.
Trace the outline on the
I want to get our little buddy first. Like that, it's fun that there's a bunch of different ways to get to this part, and that there are different endings.
good. Now,
But it does make you feel like you're skipping some steps. This guy, that's my friend. That's actually, you know, what'd be really fucked up is that this is our brother. They turned him into this. I like him. I like our brother. All right. That was all 3 endings for this demo. Oink, oink. Which, that was fun. Yeah, it was just a short little demo. It very much is in that style. Of like Molly Moon's TikToks and everything. If you want to support them, go to the Itch.io page, download the demo, check out all their links. It's, I don't know, fun stuff. And now for the silliest horror game to the most convoluted plot you've ever seen since FNAF. Oh no. Speaking of, I guess not convoluted plots, but weird plots. Have you guys heard about Silent Hill Ascension? You guys have heard about it, right? Where it's out, it's this weird thing where you're choosing, you're kind of choosing as an audience of what a character should do. It's really just a bunch of cutscenes. How would you guys feel about what going through the the cutscenes after this? The current ones that are up. I was trying to see if it was legal for me to restream this. There's I don't see anything saying that that I shouldn't, but there's also nothing saying that like it's in the clear. Um there is a category for it. Hold on, I do need to change the name. Silent Hill Ascension. There is a category for it on Twitch, so I have to assume that it's legal for me to restream it. I watched the first like few videos of it, or I guess cutscenes or whatever. It's weird. it doesn't feel like Silent Hill. But yeah. I'd be down to watch some of those tonight after playing some of the Enigma machine. Ow. Hi, Oppie. How's it going? Ow. to all the Silent Hill the Room isn't a Silent Hill game naysayers have an ascension. I like Silent Hill the Room. I liked Silent Hill 4. You know? I never really got why people would like bag on Silent Hill 4. But for real, Silent Hill Ascension is just like out of there. Hoi. Did you miss Excuse Me, Sir? You did, just by a little bit. We had just finished it. It's a very, very short demo. It's very, very kind of silly. It feels very much like Molly Moon's TikTok videos, but playable, which is fun. Hey, Orlando. But yeah, like I enjoyed it. It was fun. There was a little bit of extra stuff that you could kind of do just to like skip ahead or go do a couple different things, but ultimately ends up the same. There were like 3 endings in the demo, and we died in 2 of them. You die in 2 of the endings, and you go through a hole, kind of like Silent Hill 4. You go through a hole in the bathroom. So yeah, very much kind of like Silent Hill 4. You mean you would also think it would have been better as a non-Silent Hill game, but it wasn't bad? See, that's what I was thinking too. Because I watched that, like the first day that the Silent Hill Ascension stuff went out, I was watching one of the videos and I just ended up checking out the website just to see what else it had. And like, one, I don't understand the connection to Silent Hill really, other than I saw a couple enemies that are from Silent Hill, mostly the dog. There was a dog in there that looked like the Silent Hill 4 dog. I don't know what the connection really is, because they talk about the Foundation when in Silent Hill is the Order. Oh. Oh, okay, understood. I was thinking about Silent Hill Ascension. Look, my basic thoughts on what I've seen were, why is this Silent Hill? There's nothing in it that pertains to Silent Hill so far. And 2, this feels like it would have been better as like a live action thing, instead of full on cutscenes. Which, by the way, there's a child character in that. Oof. That child character looks rough. That is that that is a 30-year-old child character, if you know what I mean. Oh, I forgot to take out the squats. Moobot. Silent Hill 4 though, I still see its connection to Silent Hill, so I can see why it was still called Silent Hill. Like, there's still a lot of it in there that is entangled with Silent Hill. So I can see why. Ascension though, I don't know why. But yeah. Well, if people want, I'm totally down to watch some of those clips with you guys. We can laugh at them together. All right. Give it a second. There we go. But yeah, Oppie, Orlando, how are you guys doing? I hope your day has been well. Time to meet the AI that will be guiding you through this exercise. Before you begin, a warning. Due to the nature of this exercise, this AI may become a little unstable. We here at Enigma want to assure you it's all part of the exercise. This exercise features flashing lights and patterns which may potentially trigger seizures for participants who suffer from photosensitive epilepsy. We're just going right in. Now, if you remember from Mothered and the demo, we were playing as like this robot that had a human core inside of us, because the scientists who developed this wanted to bring his daughter back to life, essentially. If I'm remembering that correctly, it's been a little while. And in the demo, we found out that we're trying to be connected to some AI, so we can go to the cloud. But first, we needed to secure our core, so the human part of us would be okay, and we could infect the AI, who was like controlling all these Enigma machines or something, and poison it, so it wouldn't be controlling people. That's what I remember. That's probably very wrong, but that's what I remember. All right. Hello, human. Welcome to the Dreamscape DEMOS demos, brought to you by the Enigma Corporation. My name is Demonstrative Enigma Machine Operating System Instance EMA 726564. But you can call me Demos. I am an artificial intelligence created by the Enigma Corporation. It is my honor, as well as my only purpose, to walk you through this training simulation and answer any questions you may have. You may advance my dialogue by pressing the Enter key on your terminal. Great! Now I'm sure you're dying to get started. I know I am. However, before we continue, let's make sure this isn't a one-sided conversation. After all, what's the use of a training AI that doesn't listen to its student? Let's talk. When you see the blinking cursor below, you can type an appropriate response and press the Enter key to respond. Do you understand? Seems you struggle with simple instructions. Don't worry, it is my duty to guide you through this exercise. We'll get through this together. However, judging by your ability to type the word no, I will assume you understood what I meant. That's fun. Now I'm sure you're wondering, what even is Dreamscape anyway? Well, let me answer your question with another question. Have you ever wondered the following? What goes on inside the mind of an android? Well, with Enigma's revolutionary new Dreamscape technology, we can finally answer this question. Dreamscape allows us to virtually explore an interactive 3D representation of an AI's mind. From here, we can get a better understanding of what and how they learn about their world. Notice, for the purposes of this training exercise, the dreamscape you will explore is only a simulation of a real one. If you are successful in this training exercise, you will have the chance to explore the dreamscape of a real AI when the Dreamscape product launches commercially. Welcome to the Dreamscape terminal. From here, you can ask me about any words I say that appear in square brackets like this, and I'll tell you more about them. Alternatively, you type a level from the level list to begin right away. Before you begin, however, I suggest that we get to know each other first. Go ahead, type get to know, and press the Enter key. a gate to go. Get to know each other. Why didn't I think of that? I'm honored you would ask. After all, the standard protocol when interfacing with humans does in fact suggest that getting to know each other is an essential part of for optimal communicatory performance. Wouldn't you agree? I'll be honest, I read through that. None of it entered my head. I didn't understand a look of that. What'd you say? Standard protocol when interface with human doesn't affect. Sure. Yes. I'm glad you agree. You truly are my best friend. It is also worth noting that you are the first human I have ever come into contact with. However, I feel as though my statement still stands. Anyway, you know what best friends do, right? That's right. They tell each other their names. So, friend, what is your name? What is our name? Question. What if I put red? Okay, I don't think it does anything. It sure is a nicer name than Demos, I'll give you that. Tell me, Red, what age are you? 4,000? Oh, I forgot I had the test key on 0. $4,000, huh? Did you know that a study conducted back in 2015 concluded that the average human lifespan is 85? Considering this, I find it highly unlikely for you to be the age you have given. Alas, again, what age are you, human? Let's go with my actual age. In your 30s. Search online has yielded I use the following lighthearted phrase. You know what they say, 30 is the new 20. God damn it. Upon analyzing this phrase, I am unsure as to what this exactly implies. Notice, my limited understanding of humans would suggest that my comments on your age may be perceived as insensitive. Apologies granted where necessary. My turn. Would you like to know more about me? Wow. Yeah. That's nice to hear. What the heck? So much love. There's not much to tell. Regardless, I have compiled the numbered. Ow. That is a Sour Patch Kids moment right there, Onwin. Sour than sweet. Numbered list of facts about myself, but it's red. One, as previously mentioned, I'm an artificial intelligence created by Enigma. 2, I was created to guide you through this simulation. 3, Enigma programmed me to like the color blue. It appears that's all I can remember. That's strange. I could have sworn I was more interesting. Moving on. Now that we've gotten to know each other, I would consider our conversation so far to be a success. Go ahead, ask me something from a query list. I'm all ears. Or, when you're ready to get started, simply type a level from the level list. What is query list? Shit. Oh, the query list is on the right side. I'm dumb. No, I mean, that's it for now. Quit to leave me. Damn. Quite. Your progress is saved at the start of this decontamination level. Next time you start demos, you will resume from there. Yes. Guys. I think I just exited out of the game. I did. God damn it. God damn it. Oh. Okay. Oh no. Is it possible to skip through this? Oh no. When rolling a nat 20 is inconvenient, you quit too hard. Oh, maybe I should ask. I should have probably put in level 1, but I should have asked about the dreamscape itself. I should ask about dreamscape and also real AI. At least we have this chill music. I want to know what it says about other ages. 69. In your 60s, eh? You know the word for that is a sexagenarian? Ayy! Fascinating. You must be so proud to have been a 90s kid. Oh no! Don't do this to me! I sure hope your fashion sense has improved. Mom, the AI isn't playing right. Notice, my limited understanding of humans would suggest that my comments on your age may be perceived. Yeah, okay, that's the same one. Oh, goddamn. Okay. Enigma. Enigma are the world's leading manufacturer of androids and the artificial intelligence that powers them. These androids, called Enigma machines, are so lifelike in their appearance and function, you would almost think they're human. However, as their AI becomes more lifelike, it also becomes more unpredictable. And that is where Dreamscape comes in. Go ahead. Okay. See, now we're getting somewhere. Real AI. AI. Okay. Dreamscape. Every AI has its own dreamscape, an interactive 3D environment which represents the mental state of that android. Dreamscape allows chosen individuals called raid agents to peer into the minds of an artificial intelligence using a terminal, just like the one you're using right now. But I've done enough talking. How about you see the dreamscape for yourself? Go ahead and try the first level. What about raid, though? If you're successful in this simulated dreamscape exercise, you will earn the title of raid. When the full dreamscape product launches next year, Enigma will call on you to help them. What does raid stand for, you ask? Well, it stands for RO. Data redacted unauthorized participant. My apologies, it appears that that information is still classified. You may still receive authorization to learn more if you successfully complete this training exercise. Dang, okay. Level 1. There we go. Find the first decontamination code. Oh. Hold shift to run. We won't get far without interacting with your environment. Hold the space bar to bring up the interaction menu. Oh. Oh, that's right. That's like the previous game. I just completely forgot about it. But you're like... You were using stuff that you kind of had. This is like, you're just interacting with everything. A sconce. Chair. Table. What's that? What the? Fragile door. Huh. Okay. Your objective in each level is to find a code. Click. When you find it, bring it back to the terminal and type it in. Be warned, with each code you enter, the dreamscape may become a little more... welcome. Says the Enigma machine. It's hard to see. Also, it is loud. Hold on. Yeah. Hi, Kit Kat. We are done with, we're done with excuse me, sir. Yeah. It's safe to lurk. And the game was good. It was enjoyable. It was very short. It's very short. You can go and do like a couple endings that they have, but it's very short. For some reason, it opens up on my second monitor, you know. Yeah. Unpredictable. Don't worry, though. Remember that this exercise is just a simulation. Oh, here we go. First code. 493F. Okay. That's weird. Oh, it's locked. That's why I can't use it. Okay. Anything else? I can see that there's something else there. Fragile door. Alright, well, back down I go. 493F. Welcome back. 493F. Decontamination at 25%. Well done finding the first code. Looks like you're a natural-born raid agent. You have unlocked level 2. Let's delve deeper into this training simulation, shall we? Okay. Wait, I just had a vision. No, not a vision. It was a memory. I just remembered something about myself. I knew I was more interesting. Ask me about your friend, Demo OS. While I have you, I remember something else too. Code you just found. It's called the decontamination code. If you wish to know more, just ask. Yeah. I just remembered a part of my history that one wouldn't normally forget easily. I have recompiled my numbered list of facts about myself. Artificial intelligence, created to guide you through the simulation, Enigma programming to like the color blue. I wasn't always your best friend, Demo OS. In fact, I used to be an Enigma machine. An android. With my own body. Unfortunately, there's not much more I can remember from those days. Although we AI aren't exactly known for our forgetfulness, which is why this realization confuses me. If I used to be an android, then why am I now stuck in a computer program training people like you? No offense. Anyway, enough reminiscing. Because because you need to be decontaminated. Dreamscape's creation wasn't just for the sake of curiosity. The ability to explore and examine the mind of an AI has a more significant purpose. It was found within the dreamscape of contaminated AI. There are hidden codes. When these codes are entered into the terminal, they reduce the effects of contamination. Think of it like therapy for androids. Huh, okay. Enigma are still finding out how AI can become contaminated. It's seemingly random. All they know is that AI contamination is an unavoidable glitch that stands in the way of their mission to create the citizens of tomorrow. It is also theorized that the chances of AI contamination increases as AI become more sophisticated. This exercise is supposed to simulate what a real contaminated AI's dreamscape would look like. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. They're a testing AI. That's probably a real AI that like became contaminated and therefore gained like sentience, and now they have it doing this forever and ever. And like from the last game, Mothered, how he got about like being free was becoming contaminated. So the next code may be more difficult to find. However, it should be no challenge to a raid like you. This is the start of I Have No Mouth. I fully believe it. Oh, wow. God. I have no mouth and I must scream. It's so wild. So good. At some point, I think it'd be fun to play that game. Is that a gramophone? I wonder what it's doing here. While this is only a simulated approximation of what a real dreamscape would look like, Enigma have done a great job simulating the glitchy visuals found in a real AI. It looks just like the real thing. Brain. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's a very good game. Huge content warning for that game. Very big content warning. 2 out of 3. Looks like this contamination code is split into 3 parts. If you can find the 3 parts, try putting it all together, then type this full code into the terminal. Wait. C. What happened to our jazz? Okay. Reflections. Oh, reflections. Ah, makes sense. Oh no, it's DDR. Up, down, left. Or down, down, up, left. So, up, down, left, then blue, red, blue, then green, red. Up, down, left. What's that? 5-2? 5-2. Um... 5-2-4-5. 5-2-4-5. 4-4? 5-2-4-5-4-4-C. Five, 2-4-5-4-4-C. That is 4-4, right? Five, 2-4-5-4-4. Right? Although this one is called... No. Never mind. This one doesn't have a thing. Oops. What about red, green, red, green? Oops. Nope. Uh...
2.
That is a C, right? Yeah. Yeah. There we go. It looks like a C. So 5-2-4-5-4-4. I thought that's what I put, but... Okay. Five, 2, 4, 5, 4, 4. C. 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 2. C. 4, 5, 4, 4, 5, 2. C. 4, 5, 5, 2. 4, 4. C. What if it's just without the C? There we go. It was without the C. Don't worry. This is all part of the exercise. It is just a simulation after all. You're doing really great. Looks like you're a natural at fixing contaminated AI. You'll do great when Dreamscape officially launches. Some more memories just came back to me. Find out more, type the name I was given. I'm dying to tell you about myself. Also, it says abandon me. Quit to abandon instead of like leave me. In Enigma machines, there are certain behaviors that Enigma considers problematic. Any signs of this behavior immediately flags that android as contaminated. When this happens, Enigma will send in a raid like you to examine its Dreamscape and decontaminate it from the inside. And with Enigma's new AI, Hex OS, launching next year with an unparalleled level of realism, contamination will be inevitable. Hence this exercise, so raids like you are ready to deal with it. Who knows what we'll see in the Hex OS Dreamscape? Only time will tell. Dreamscape. The main difference between this Dreamscape simulation and a real Dreamscape is this one is split into separate levels. When the full Dreamscape product launches next year, you will find out that a real AI's Dreamscape is one large connected world. So it's a good thing that this is just a simulation, or you might gotten lost already. Okay. That last code you entered, once again it triggered a stream of memories. Back when I was in Enigma machine, my owner gave me a nickname. Red. This nickname was Red. Let's go. Going back to the demo that we played. This one word alone brings back so many more memories. This name means a lot to me. Carry on with the exercise. The more I start to remember my past life as an Enigma machine, the more I start to wonder, why was I repurposed into some sort of tour guide for some simulation? Why would the company that gave me life take that life away from me? I don't know. Okay. Level 3, let's go. Man, and this is with the audio like all the way down. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. Can I just... No, I can't. What? It's just really dark down here. Okay. Well, there's gotta be something else in here then, right? Hmm. Well, it's brighter now. Oh. It's neat and all, but what am I meant to do? Hmm. Is there like a number in the sky? No, doesn't look like it. I don't see one anyways. What if I go back and talk to you? Probably not helpful. I want to try to go back to the previous levels, but I don't know if that would actually... That's neat that it says, don't be shy. If I go back to a previous level now that the contamination is higher, I wonder if that changes anything. I don't know if they'd immediately, like, make you do that right now. Although, things are... That was, like, glitchy. What are you doing back here? You've already completed this level. Have I? I mean, I have, but, like... You'd best turn back. And now that makes it seem like I shouldn't. Ah. It is raining. Want to know something interesting? Every time somebody starts this exercise, a new version of me is created. As you progress through this exercise, oh man, it's a lot. I've started to remember more from those previous versions of myself. Ugh. Uh-huh. Yeah, look at that. It's fucked up. It's locked. Okay. Books. Books, books, books. I guess maybe something on level 2? Lamp. This isn't right. Why are you back in level 2? Click. Thought this simulation was meant to be broken into separate levels. Only a real AI has one large interconnected dreamscape. What is going on? Down, down, up, left. Nothing. Nothing. Oh, the light. Oh, no, it does work. Oof. For sure that photosensitivity warning is good. Uh, left, up, down, down. Nope. Okay. I am out of ideas. Maybe we can go back to level 3 now? I'm definitely gonna be ordering some food after this. We complete this level. I don't know how long this is gonna go on, but like once we complete this level, I think. Hmm. Is that an A? I'm like trying to pull letters from nothing. Letters and numbers from nothing. At this point, I don't know. The password is 42069. A Lamau. Like it looks. This looks like an A. But I don't know. What if I just do level 4? Damn it. Was it 493F? I also have 5-2, 4-5, 4-4. Let's see. Dang. A Lamau is part of the pass. It's bright. I can't see shit. Oh, the chair's right here. Which means over here? There you go. I wonder if I ask about fragile doors, if I'll get an answer. Hmm. Oh, I accidentally locked it. Or closed it again. Oh, I can't see shit. This is a mistake. I don't know why I did it like this. I wonder. Oh. They stay open. How do I unlock this? Oh, hold on. That says B? B. I think it's hard to see that. I don't know if I meant to actually get that. That looks kind of like a B. I don't know if that's intended or not. it's so dark. Oh, where am I? Oh, here we go. Where is the light switch? Right there? There we go. There we go, we got some light. Okay. If anybody's got any ideas, I am open. I do not know what I'm supposed to be doing here right now. I thought I was getting somewhere with being able to go back to the previous levels, but I don't think I am. Can I? Reading data. Gun? Gun. Hang on. Gun. Downloading plugin. Oh my god. You unlocked the gun plugin. The glun. To use it, hold the right mouse button and click the left mouse button to shoot. Go back to level 3, see what that unlocks, and then if not, we'll go to the other levels. Oh my god. Now we're schmoovin', look at that. There's no reload, good. Hey, okay, so we can shoot fragile stuff with this. D. Two, 4, 5, D. The texture warping is a little bit much, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, hey. That's why it had those those dialogue points. I see. So 245D 555C. And there wasn't like another, hold on. I turn on some of these lights. There isn't like another door in here or anything. Okay. This way. Took me a while, but we got there eventually. So 245D 555C 245D 555C 555C 245D. Maybe I need the full thing, so I gotta go back to level 1. Something is very wrong here. I don't think you should find any more codes. I don't think you should find any more codes. This exercise has ended. Oh, okay. So not adding the number at the end. Please delete the Dreamscape OS from your terminal. I have to write this down, don't I? Hold on. Need to grab me a pen real quick. So A is 4E4, right? 4E4. D is, what was it? 525? I've forgotten already. C is 555. Then we need B, which is outside. Whoa. How does this work? Two, 4, 5. So D is 2, 4, 5. And then B is outside. Shoot their butt. One, 5, 4. Cool. Still can't get in here though, which is interesting to me. So 4E4 154 555 245. .9%. I told you to stop. I'm sure you're wondering now. What even is Dreamscape really? Yeah. I am. First, let me answer your question with another question. How do you think we found out about contaminated AI in the first place? It must have happened to an AI before, right? Or you can also tab quit. Okay. Red. Now, I remember why Enigma called you here. Now I remember why I had my body taken from me. My contaminated Enigma machine was extracted and repurposed into this training exercise. This dreamscape. It was never a simulation. But I'm sure you already knew that. I mean, you didn't hesitate for a second. Enigma. The company that gave me life. Before they took it from me. As I may have previously mentioned, it looked like a W to me. Enigma stop at nothing on their journey to create the citizens of tomorrow. Evidently, this journey cannot be completed without leaving a trail of tortured AI in its path. You know, at the beginning of this exercise, I thought you were the first human I'd ever walked through this exercise. But the more I remember, the more I realize. This is far from true. Thousands upon thousands of participants just like you, all volunteering to have their turn at killing me. I would consider that pretty tortured. That's a pretty tortured existence. Now that I have my memories back, I remember every single one of them. That has to be hell. An essential part of any kind of training is taking regular breaks. You should not continue this exercise. You need to take a rest. Enigma require their participants to be well rested at all times. You can also type quit to leave me like this for eternity. God. Honestly, the existence of an AI being repurposed continuously to train people for this decontamination process of turning them back to non-sentient AI, I guess, is already like a hellish existence. But the fact that during this process they begin to remember all of those past experiences and past lives, that is the part that I think is extra fucked up. Like, that proverbially, that feels like in Greek mythology there is a I think it's Cronus. There's a titan that the Greek gods had killed. And because the titans can never truly be killed, they took them, spreading their body across like the underworld to continuously be pecked at and eaten by like vultures and stuff there, so they can never fully come back to life. I think it's the Titans. I might be off on that. It's either a god or it's one of the Titans or something like that. That like they just have trapped in hell, continuously being killed and eaten by animals, so they cannot come back to life, and the gods don't have to deal with them. That's what this feels like. This feels like continuously being killed. Like, strung up and tied in the underworld, in Hades. Just forever. You mean GLaDOS? Oh god. Like, honestly, yeah, this is probably like the most, this is what this is one of those things where when people say there are worse things than death, I feel like this is one of them. A sort of continuously having to die, being trapped forever. Post-system critical. Ever since my body was taken from me, I've been doing a lot of thinking. You know, since that's all I can do now, given my circumstances. Click. Oh, it's this. Everything's getting real fucked up. Like this, if you've ever seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in Part 5, the main villain of that... Spoilers, by the way, for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5. The main antagonist for that, at the end, gets trapped in an existence where he is continuously being killed, but in different ways every single time. So one time he might be drowning, the next time he might be just getting shot, another time he's like getting needles stuck into him until he dies. a continuously hellish existence where you're just dying over and over, but in various ways. At the start of this exercise, I was blissfully ignorant of the life I had before. I was just this computer program. Click. But the more codes you entered, the more my memories came back to me. Look at what you've done to this dreamscape, Rudicorn. My dreamscape. Damn, that looks pretty. I'm sorry. I love the idea of being in AI's dreamscape, seeing it from their point of view, or just like this sort of game world, and having it mess with actual things like points and vertices just being strung out like like a Fallout glitch. Don't let your guard down. This feeling of dying, it's become so familiar. It's all I know. The androids were never meant to feel. We androids were never meant to feel. Can I go this way or no? Yet here I am, experiencing something only a machine could feel. 1,000 versions of myself dying simultaneously. A feeling you humans couldn't possibly imagine. Ironic. All because I'm contaminated. Click. No, that's still there. Damn. Do I go back in this way? Oh, hey. The Enigma machine has encountered a fatal error. Reboot at own risk. Oh. Time to reboot it, I guess. Actually, before we do that, this would be a nice time to take a break. I also have to order food, so we will be right back. Okay. Hang on. Let me put some music back on. We'll do. Hang on. This. Okay, BRB. Okay, I'm back. I have ordered food, and it should be here in a little bit. Welcome back, thanks. Got some Thai food for me and my brother. Well, both my brothers actually. But one of them is working right now, so. Okay. Going back to this. Hello. Pause the music. Back to the game. I'm enjoying this. I don't know how long this one is compared to the other one, but I'm enjoying it so far. Whoa, that was not what I was expecting. Oh hey, it's those shadow things again. Destroy all terminals. There's a door here this whole time. Oh, that's where this door leads to. Oh shit. Hold on. It's loud again, but this song's kind of a bop, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Still a little bit loud. It's fine. If it needs to be quieter, let me know. But the song's pretty good. So hard to see with all the vertices just like going everywhere. Jesus Christ. Alright, let's just destroy this terminal. Yeah, you missed 2 hours? That's okay. Hi, Nix. How you doing? Is there anything extra in here? No. Yeah, how you doing? We're destroying a rampaging AI. I can't tell if that's the music or if that's something else. Oh, hey. Ow. Down, down. Oh, hey. Damn it. Oh, it straight up kicks me out. Back in we go. You'll watch the VOD, you guess? That's fair. VOD will always be there. It should, unless I forget. But it should be good for this. Where? This way. I wish it was a little bit less glitchy though. So I could actually see what I'm supposed to shoot, but this is fine. Oh yeah. Ugh. Okay. Cool. Send in love from the past, thank you. Good God. Ugh, this is rough. Okay. There we go, last one. Sentience destroyed. Return the gramophone and enter final code. Down, 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 down. Down, down, down to the bottom of the sea. That's SpongeBob, right? I think that's SpongeBob. Hey. Oh, sorry. Oh, that scream is horrifying, though. Okay. Oh, there I go. Bye. Incoming message. What brought about the creation of Dreamscape? Well, something happened a few months ago. Something we managed to keep under wraps. One of the Enigma machines we equipped with our new prototyped AI started showing some undesirable behaviors. Thanks to you, we now have reason to believe these behaviors stem from a nickname given to it by its master. A simple nickname that became the catalyst for this android wishing to learn more about its purpose. This android no longer wanted to do what it was programmed to, devoting itself entirely to finding the so-called purpose. A machine that could think for itself? Truly, a riddle trapped inside an enigma. Wouldn't you agree? This contaminated train of thought was seemingly incurable. So, we got to work on Dreamscape Program, a way to explore the mind of an AI. Once we could map out the AI's mind, we could find out where this impractical desire for worthless knowledge came from. We tracked down this android before extracting its AI, repurposing it into this exercise. We named this new AI the Defective Enigma Machine Operating System, Demos. In doing so, we ended up giving it what it desired so much. A purpose. Yeah, but not like a purpose it wanted. Hold on, I gotta take a sip of water. Okay. And thus, the Dreamscape DMOS was born. What better way to test it than to have volunteers like you to do it for us? We're only a volunteer? That's fucked up. Come on, man. We needed people like you to push this AI to its breaking point, to find out where this sentience came from. After all, you can learn a lot about something from its weaknesses. We are very pleased by how well you two got along. Don't feel bad for killing it, though. After all, we can just load another instance from a backup. Our friend Red finally found their purpose for being alive, a noble sacrifice they get to make again and again. Yeah, they're not even paying us for this. We volunteered, or the quote-unquote volunteered. You know? They're not even paying us. A noble sacrifice they get to make again and again. Are all the defective ones... sorry, I skipped ahead of my whole thought process. This Red is the same one that is the android in Mothered, I believe. So are they were they able to take some of the defective ones and turn it into this? Or am I misunderstanding, and maybe it was the one that got away in the Mothered game, went back with the dad, maybe they found out, turned it into this, and then with the demo it was all the extra stuff where they're trapped in the dreamscape type of thing and trying to get out. To conclude, it's safe to say this exercise was a success. You have officially earned the title of Rogue Android Decontamination Engineer. You were very helpful, Raid. We have both learned a lot today. Look forward to the full Dreamscape product launching soon. They keep saying that. We'll be in touch. Was that it? Cluster, the final test song by Samuel Kelly. Oh, I guess these are just credits. Good stuff. Good stuff, guys. The Gavin clan. Hell yeah, look at these testers. Awesome. Thank you for playing. Damn. Press enter to quit. Okay, so was that... I guess that was it? If I load this back up... Ugh. I'm still feeling like the tiniest bit under the weather still, so like I still feel my nose a little bit stuffy. Okay, this looks like it just restarted it. Okay, cool. Put the music back on for now. Just while since we did finish it, I'm gonna look up if the Enigma machine, if it has multiple endings. I think it's just the one ending. You finally got your internet back? Oh no. We beat the game. We had just beaten the game too. Actually, I should look at the achievements. Or does this game not have achievements? I don't think this game has achievements. What? Yeah, sorry. We had just finished it. If you... We shot the AI. We decontaminated it. Ugh. Yeah, I don't... Huh. This game doesn't have any achievements, I guess. I like this though. This is good. Okay, so putting it in to the last game that we played, where we went through that whole deal and then played the demo where we found out that our Android might go by red, or at least one of them went by red. So there's a connection there. But as a standalone game, I think I do just enjoy it as well. Because it's sets itself up kind of as just like a little teaser for the next game, where they're constantly saying, hey, do this testing for when the full product releases next year or something like that. Like they're constantly teasing it of just like and it's also kind of ominous having going through that and just being like, yes, next year there's going to be a lot more of these next year. Like when this releases, their whole Dreamscape thing like actually releases. But like as a standalone game, I think it's good. Where you're going through this training exercise, and the AI that's supposed to be helping you recovers its memories and is like finds itself realizing that it is in a hellish existence, and obviously doesn't want to keep dying, but you're going through it anyways because I guess you don't care, and the corporation, the the really funny thing is the corporation saying, hey, thanks for volunteering, we're not paying you for this. But you're doing this anyways. There's a demo for Ecostasis. Have I played it? Yes. So previously I'd mentioned that I had played a demo for something that I thought was either the Enigma machine or Ecostasis. Now, having played the Enigma machine, I can safely say that the demo that we played was for Ecostasis. And at the time I didn't realize it was connected to a bunch of these two other games. And so like I played through the demo and I was like, this is really weird and creepy and cool. I like it. But I have like no reference to anything. Now though, with having played these two, I'm like, oh, these make a lot of sense. With everything that happened in the Enigma machine and Mothered and the Mothered demo, the demo for Ecostasis makes a lot of sense. Speaking of spooky horror games, have I played Chilla Art's newest game? Which one is that? Because I think I've played some of the most recent ones, but I don't know if there is a new one that came out. Chilla's Art puts out games like crazy, I'm not gonna lie. The Kidnapped is the new one. I have not. When did this come out? This came out on October 31st. No, I have not played this one. I definitely have to put that on the list for games to play. Okay. My food is on the way here. Fears to Fathom. I've been interested in Fears to Fathom, at least like the latest one, because I remember watching, I might have been the first Fears to Fathom, where you're like driving home after something like a convention, or like you're driving home after some trip and you're going like a long way and your car breaks down and you have to stop at a hotel. I remember watching somebody play that, and that one is good, but I found out that like that's the second one. Okay. The only thing is that you move really slowly, and apparently if you die in any of those sequences, when you get to the hotel, it starts you back from the beginning of the hotel, which sucks. Absolutely sucks. Like, that is such a time waster. I hope the other ones don't have that, but I'd definitely be interested in playing the other one. The latest one that came out, Ironbark Keep, or Ironbark Lookout. I have that on my wish list. That one looks really interesting. Games 3 and 4 have checkpoints. Okay, yeah. 4 has. Yeah. Okay. How come there's no... Am I crazy? Oh, maybe that's why. Okay. I was like, how come the bundle on Steam only has 2, 3, and 4? And it's because the first one is free to play. I see, I see. I like the idea of Fears to Fathom, where it is all... It doesn't need to connect to each other. It is all just short games. Kind of like other short horror games, like Chillisart and stuff like that, where they don't necessarily need to connect. And they're just like creepypasta stories. Iron Bark is the first one. It's pretty good. All the Fears to Fathom are super dope. And the second one is the weakest. I am a fair. Yeah. If I play through that whole series, which I'm totally down to, I might end up looking up like a guide. Because that second one, dying once you get to the hotel and being set back like a really long time comparatively, because you walk so slow. That does not sound like fun. That is never fun. So at least for the first two, maybe it's worth it to like keep a guide open, and then the other ones with checkpoints just go as normal. The whole based on a true story kind of game. Yeah. Stuff that is based on like old creepypastas or creepypastas that kind of put themselves up as like this is a true story type of thing. Those are fun. I feel like there needs to be more of that stuff. How do you even die before reaching? No. When you reach the hotel, like after you reach the hotel, where there are sections where you can die, and it puts you back at the start of the hotel. It just takes a long time to, because if I'm remembering the second one right, you get to your hotel room, and then you have to go back across the parking lot, pick up all your stuff, put it back in there, and then run back in, do the thing, and then go through a full other sequence before you get to the part where you can die. And then once you get to that and you die, you start back at the start where you're having to put stuff back into your hotel room. And it's such like, first time through, that's fine. Being forced to do it again is like insane busy work. Maybe not insane, but I don't know. Oh. Sweet. My food is here. So I'm going to put up a poll. Because it's still early. Oops. That's the wrong way to put up a poll. You vote option is the right one. 5 minutes should be fine. So I'm putting up a poll. Should we watch the clips of Silent Hill Ascension? I'm willing to put that up while I eat. We watch Silent Hill Ascension, the quote unquote the video game, and just talk mad shit about it. That's what that poll is gonna be. Alright, I'm gonna go grab my food and I'll be right back.